I really like doing underwater diving. For that, I need an apparatus called rebreather which supplies oxygen for breathing. A rebreather literally means that not only does this apparatus have breathing gas, it also recycles exhaled gas. This makes it lightweight and compact and ideal for use over long durations. So how does the rebreather work its magic? It has an absorbent canister filled with potassium superoxide. This absorbs carbon dioxide and gives off oxygen. Now the question is, can we use calcium superoxide or strontium superoxide instead of potassium superoxide? If yes, then why? And if not, then why not? For the answer, meet me in the studio. Hello and welcome to Chemistry. I am Devabrata Goswami and today we are going to study the various compounds of alkali and alkaline earth metals. In today's session, we will study and compare the compounds of alkali and alkaline earth metals like the oxides and hydroxides, sulfates and carbonates, and nitrates. And finally, we will look at important questions in the exam decoded section. You already know that group 1 elements are called alkali metals and group 2 elements are called alkaline earth metals. They get their name because of a chemical property. These elements readily dissolve in water to form oxides and hydroxides which are strongly alkaline in nature. So let us first start with oxides of alkali metals. Lithium forms lithium monoxide on combustion in air. Sodium forms sodium peroxide, while potassium, rubidium and cesium form their respective superoxides. Now why does this happen? This happens because as we move down the group, the atomic size increases. Since lithium is smallest in size, it can stabilize only a small anion like oxide, while sodium, being larger in size, can stabilize a larger anion like peroxide. On the other hand, potassium, rubidium and cesium can stabilize an even bigger anion like superoxide because of their larger sizes. The oxides, peroxides and superoxides of alkali metals get easily hydrolyzed by water to form hydroxides, and they are basic in nature. The hydroxides of group 1 differ in their basicity, and as we move down the group, the basicity increases. Why do you think that is so? This is because as we move down the group from lithium to cesium, the atomic size increases and ionization enthalpy decreases. This decrease in ionization enthalpies leads to weakening of the bonds between the alkali metal and the hydroxide ion. So, the concentration of hydroxide ion in the solution increase, which leads to increase in basicity. As a result, the basicity of hydroxides increases on moving down the group from lithium to cesium. Now, what about oxides formed by the elements of group 2? All elements of group 2 burn in oxygen to form monooxides. However, barium and strontium can form peroxides also. None of the elements of group 2 form superoxides. Now you know why calcium and strontium superoxides cannot be used in rebreathers. Group 2 elements don't form superoxides at all. You know that magnesium burns vibrantly in air, producing a brilliant light. Similarly, all other group 2 elements burn in air too and are often used in preparing flares, a device used for producing brilliant light signals. The oxides of all alkaline earth metals except beryllium oxide react with water to form sparingly soluble hydroxides. These hydroxides are used for several purposes. For example, calcium hydroxide is often used as a filler in manufacturing brake pads. Just as in group 1, basicity of hydroxides increases as we move down group 2 as well. Along with basicity, solubility of hydroxides of group 2 elements also increases as we move down the group. Can you explain why? We know that solubility of a substance is affected by two factors, lattice enthalpy and hydration enthalpy. Among the hydroxides of this group, it is observed that there is not much change in the magnitude of hydration enthalpy. But the lattice enthalpy decreases as we move down the group, because as we move down the group, the atomic size of elements increases and lattice enthalpy is inversely related to size of the ions. So, the enthalpy of solution becomes more negative as we move down the group. This leads to an increase in solubility. And due to low ionization enthalpy of group 1, hydroxides of group 1 are more basic than group 2. If this topic needs more clarity, you could always log on to www.topperlearning.com and ask our experts any questions you have. With this, it is time to take a short break, but while I take a short breather, you answer this question. Can you name the group 1 hydroxide that is used as a relaxer to straighten hair? I am sure most girls will have an answer to this one. You keep thinking, I'll be right back. Welcome back. I am Devabrata Goswami and you are watching Chemistry 11. Before the break, I had asked you to name the group 1 hydroxide that is used as a relaxer to straighten hair. Do you know the answer? No? Well, the answer is sodium hydroxide. Before the break, we had studied oxides and hydroxides of alkali and alkaline earth metals. Now, let's study the halides of alkali metals. Group 1 halides are ionic in nature and are formed by the action of the aqueous solution of hydrohalic acid on the appropriate hydroxide or carbonate. These halides can also be formed by heating the group 1 elements with halogen directly. Likewise, halides of alkaline earth metals are also formed when the metals are heated directly with their corresponding halogens. Over here, you must note that except for beryllium halides, all other halides of alkaline earth metals are ionic in nature. Now tell me, is there any difference between the halides of group 1 and group 2? Yes, there is one difference between the halides of group 1 and group 2. Group 2 halides exist as hydrated halides like hydrated magnesium chloride and hydrated calcium chloride and have 6 molecules of water each. On the other hand, group 1 halides do not exist in hydrated form. This is due to higher hydration enthalpies of group 2 metal ions as compared to group 1 metal ions. After studying the halides of group 1 and group 2, it's time to learn about their sulfates. The sulfates of group 1 can be prepared by the reaction of metals with sulfuric acid. An important point to note here is that sulfates of group 1 are water soluble. Let's take a look at the sulfates of group 2 now. Beryllium sulfate and magnesium sulfate are soluble in water, whereas calcium sulfate is sparingly soluble and strontium sulfate and barium sulfate are insoluble in water. Now, why are beryllium and magnesium sulfate water soluble? Magnesium and beryllium sulfate are soluble because of their small atomic size. Since their atomic size is small, they have greater hydration enthalpies and hence are extensively hydrated. Small-sized elements like beryllium and magnesium are so extensively hydrated that they overcome the lattice enthalpy, which is why beryllium sulfate and magnesium sulfate are easily soluble. After studying the oxides, hydroxides, halides and sulfates of group 1 and group 2 elements, let us now study their carbonates. All carbonates of group 1 elements except for lithium carbonate are water soluble, and the solubility of the carbonates of group 1 increases on moving from sodium to cesium. Now about the group 2 carbonates. Well, they are insoluble in water. In addition, the carbonates of both group 1 and group 2 elements decompose to produce carbon dioxide and corresponding oxides. But there is a difference in the stability of the carbonates of group 1 and group 2 when subjected to heat. Why is that? Let's find out. Since group 2 elements are smaller in size as compared to group 1, they also have higher charge density as compared to group 1. The smaller the positive ion, the higher is the charge density. And the higher the charge density, the greater is its effect on the carbonate ion to decompose it into carbon dioxide. So, group 2 carbonates easily decompose, giving carbon dioxide. But as the positive ions get bigger, as in group 1, they have less effect on the carbonate ions near them. And to compensate for that, more heat needs to be supplied to the compound in order to decompose the carbonate to carbon dioxide and metal oxide. So, the carbonates of group 1 are thermally more stable than carbonates of group 2. You already know that sodium carbonate, commonly known as washing soda, is a major ingredient in detergents as it reduces the hardness in water and increases the efficiency of the detergent. I have a question. Can we substitute sodium carbonate with calcium carbonate here? If yes, then why? And if no, then why not? Sodium carbonate is a carbonate of group 1 and calcium carbonate is a carbonate of group 2. We know that group 1 carbonates are water soluble while group 2 carbonates are water insoluble. So, calcium carbonate, which belongs to group 2, is not used in manufacturing detergents as it is water insoluble. So that was about carbonates. But before we move on, we have a caller who wants to ask a question.
Hello sir, my name is Somil and my question to you is, which carbonate form the shells of marine organisms?
Thank you for the question. The carbonate that forms shells of marine organisms is calcium carbonate. For more information on this, you can log on to www.topperlearning.com. But now, let's move on to the nitrates formed by group 1 and group 2 elements. The nitrates of group 1, except lithium nitrate, are water soluble, and the nitrates of group 2 are also water soluble. Each of these nitrates have their own importance. For example, Strontium nitrate is used to produce a rich red flame in fireworks and road flares. Now that we are through with the theory, let us move on to our exam decoded section. And don't let your mind rest, keep thinking. It's question and answer time. Welcome back. I am Devabrata Goswami and you are watching Chemistry 11. I hope this topic is crystal clear to you, but let's do a short recap so that you recall all you have learned today. In this episode, we have studied that hydroxides of group 1 are more basic than those of group 2. Halides of group 2 are more hydrated than the halides of group 1. The carbonates of group 1 are thermally more stable than carbonates of group 2. And the nitrates of both group 1 and group 2 are water soluble except lithium nitrate. Now that we are through with the theory, let us move on to our exam decoded section. Welcome to Exam Decoded, and it's time now for, you guessed it, the rapid fire round. Let's go over the rules. This round has 5 questions for 1 mark each. You will not get more than 5 seconds for each answer. Track your scores carefully and I will tell you what they mean later. Here is your first question. Group 2 elements do not form A. Oxides, B. Peroxides, C. Superoxides, D. Hydroxides. The answer is C. Superoxides. The second question is, which of the following compounds is most soluble in water? A. Magnesium sulfate, B. Calcium sulfate, C. Strontium sulfate, D. Barium sulfate. Out of the given elements, magnesium sulfate is the most water soluble. So the answer is A. Going on with the third question, most of the carbonates of group 2 are water insoluble. True or false? This is true. Most carbonates of group 2 are water insoluble. Here comes the fourth question. Basicity of oxides increases on moving down the group from lithium to cesium. True or false? This is also true. Basicity increases as we go down group. Absolutely correct. Now for the last question. The solubility of the carbonates of group 1 decreases on moving from sodium to cesium. True or false? This is false. The solubility of carbonates increases as we move from sodium to cesium. I hope you enjoyed the rapid fire, but now comes the part where you have to be honest with yourself. If you scored 5 on 5, then you are a high flyer and deserve a pat on the back. If you scored 3 or 4, then you are an achiever, which means a little more effort and you will reach the pinnacle of success. If you have got less than 3, then you will still reach the pinnacle of success, but with a lot more effort. Moving on, the topic alkali and alkaline metal compounds comes under the unit the S block elements. It carries a weightage of 5 marks and is therefore critical from exam point of view. The questions from this topic can vary from very short answer type questions for 1 mark to short answer type for 2 or 3 marks. These questions usually test your conceptual ability. You are whiz kids, no doubt, but you need to know how a question should be answered. So, get your pen and paper out and jot down the answer to this question. Barium oxide is soluble, but barium sulfate is insoluble in water. Explain. If this question comes for 2 marks, here is how you must answer it. Solubility of the substance depends on its lattice enthalpy and hydration enthalpy. If hydration enthalpy exceeds the lattice enthalpy, the substance becomes soluble in water. In barium oxide, the oxide ion is small in size, so the hydration enthalpy is high and it exceeds the lattice enthalpy, thereby making it soluble in water. This explanation will fetch you 1 mark. On the other hand, in barium sulfate, due to large size of both barium and sulfate ion, magnitude of hydration enthalpy is much smaller than lattice enthalpy. Hence, it is insoluble in water. This explanation will fetch you the other mark. Now we know the topic well and we know how to present our answers. All we need is some expert advice to help us crack those exams. So here are some important tips given by an expert. Take a look.
Hello, I am H.S. Arora, MSc Department of Chemistry, Delhi University. In S-block element, we study mainly 2 groups, Group 1 alkali metal and Group 2 alkaline earth metals. Some important points about these groups are, in both the groups, the first member of the group like lithium and beryllium shows anomalous behavior. It is because of their small size. Lithium resembles with magnesium in its many physical and chemical properties. This is called as diagonal relationship, and the cause of it is similarity in the ionic radii of lithium and magnesium. For sodium, in liquid ammonia, it shows blue color solution. It's because of the formation of ammoniated electrons. In group 2 elements, as we go down the group, sulfate, carbonate and nitrate become less soluble.
I hope you found today's episode helpful. If you have any doubts left, you could always log on to www.topperlearning.com and ask us your doubts. It's time for me to say goodbye, but I will leave you with some food for thought. Do you know that the chewing gum that we eat contains calcium carbonate? Can you tell us its function? To check if you got the right answer, log on to www.topperlearning.com. It's time for me to go now. Take care and keep thinking.